Good morning. It's Regenerative Homesteader here, and I'm ready to take a sampling of my nearly finished compost. Thought I might bring you along. So this here is an example of large composting in a small space. I'm just using the spare space in my backyard to make this horseshoe-shaped composting pile. Made originally from chipped branches and leaves from my local arborist. They just dropped it off. It was a perfect mix. I add water, a little bit of additives, and it started cooking. You can see that white line there, that's the water line. It's set at about 3 minutes per day, and that keeps the moisture level of this compost at about 65%, which is a little bit high in the moisture level, but I've got a really dry environment and that counteracts it. Not to mention counteracting it, you've got these ugly tarps. Well, these tarps have been here for, 7 years I've been using these very tarps. And really they haven't degraded much because they're fabric. But underneath it is a plastic tarp, and that's intended to capture the off-gassing and reduce evaporation, which really happens quite a bit in Phoenix. 106 degrees yesterday. It's cooled off today. It's very nice. So let's stop gabbing and dig in. We're down to the heavy tarp layer. Now this tarp is really stiff, so it doesn't lay flat against the compost pile, which helps it maintain aeration. It sounds kind of productive when you're putting an airtight tarp on an aerated composting pile, but in this really hot, dry environment, we need that tarp to maintain the moisture levels, and we just aerate from below. And of course the top, and that's why this tarp is wrinkly and not tight, stiff, durable. Just about ready to take this tarp off, but look at the angle of that line. When I started, that water line was level. It's been about 10 months, and the compost pile has shrunk down that much. How much? From my point of view, I'd say about 11 inches. Originally 3 feet. Now it's 18 inches, around in there. Let's take this tarp off. And let's put the thermometer in and see if this old pile is still cooking. Taking off the tarp, I have found an ant pile. You see that they are in between the two layers of tarp. These white little spots are their eggs. So they find the compost, I'm thinking, too moist. But that fold in between the compost is a great place for them to hang out. Are ants bad in your compost? You don't really want them in your finished compost, but while the process is happening, they are amazing. They go around and they kill things, and they expose that nutrients into the environment. And they're like a cycler. They clean up. Really, they're wonderful, other than they might bite, but man, these tiny little ones, they're hardly a nuisance. Nonetheless, I'm gonna go ahead and expose this to the light a little bit and reduce their numbers. Let's keep untarping. So let's take a sample. What looks kind of brown and light on the outside will quickly change into a nice dark brown. That's what we're gonna sample, but not just shallow. We're gonna go as deep as possible. And take a nice chunk. Smells very neutral to me. Let's keep digging in. We're gonna go ahead and find the middle of the pile there. That's where we're gonna take the sample. This, I would say, so far it hasn't been bio-tested for completeness. You see that PVC line fell off? Well, that's okay. We don't want these PVC lines to be glued because you want to just be adjustable. There's not a lot of pressure on them. So we just pinch them back in. And that way you can always adjust the PVC and keep re-leveling it. And it's not this big stiff thing. It is glued on the important parts, like that connection there. digging in. Back in the lab, about half a wheelbarrow of compost will do just great for me. That will cover my entire property, plus some. A little gray compost goes a long way, especially when mixed into compost extract, which is just simply mixing compost with water, you know, kind of gently but vigorously. And you can apply it as a soil drench or as a foliar on the leaves and the bark. So let's dig in, meow. See what we got. I'm not digging into me. Take a sniff. Smells good. It's a tiny bit on the dry line. I'd say at about 40%. Certainly still nice and brown coated slimy. That's a good sign with a non bitter odor. Back in the lab, we've got some finished compost. We've got a little bit of clean dirt, and we have some effective microbes. It's EM, it's just an assortment of digestive microbes, and it's an anaerobic solution. It's going to help this western compost pH levels go down. Right now the pH on this beautiful, here's some sifted compost, on this compost is about 10. Well, we want it down to about 7. It's beautiful. It's got a high humic content, which is why my finger is brown. It's slightly dry. I've let it dry out a little bit, so it's about 45%. So what this finished compost needs is some minerals and the pH down. In this case, effective microbes is going to do it for us. In a spray bottle of 50% effective microbes and the rest clean filtered water. That's a lot, but you know, it's biology. You can't burn stuff with biology, unlike other fertilizers. Give it a good squirt. Give the dirt a good squirt. You don't want to put anything down that's dry on wet. We only want it to go about 10% more wet, so we're not going to go too wet. I'm going to take this and just kind of sift it around. Give it another good squirt with some EM solution, just lowering that pH. And we'll mix it in. Now this is plant ready, root ready finished compost. But of course, I don't want to waste it by throwing it on right onto the garden soil. No, I want to go ahead and use every bit of biology that's in here, combined with the humic acid and the minerals and the digestive microbes. So I'll usually leave it like this without it being sifted. That way it stays aerated. It's chunky, but it also has really very small pieces in it. And I can pretty much push any piece around and it will dissolve. Yeah, that's what about 11 to 12 months of composting will do under near ideal conditions. So here's what I like to do. I like to go ahead and sift a little bit of it and keep it in this salvage container. And then I put it in one of these containers, not tightly, just loose. This is enough for 2 gallons of compost extract. Because of the concentrate that we have here, we're going to get some nice dark brown water. And we're going to use that compost extract. I'm just going ahead, right now we've got some water in this container. Can't really see it. So I'm going to mix this around about 30 seconds. Not super hard, but 30 seconds. Let's say that was 30 seconds. And we end up with a nice dark liquid. It'll get a little darker, in fact. So that compost extract is a bioinoculation. I use it to water my plants any chance I get to supplement the city water. Thanks for your time today.